started. Good evening. Thank you all for coming. This evening we'll be giving out an update into the officer-involved shooting that occurred on State Road 333 near Cedillo Hill yesterday. Before we get started on the update, I would like to introduce the Department of Public Safety Cabinet Secretary Jason Bowie, who will be giving a statement. After the statement, our New Mexico State Police Chief Tim Johnson will be giving us the update. Secretary?
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you being here, showing interest in this today. I'd like to start with just a few opening remarks before we'll turn over to Chief Johnson. As has been said, he will give you an update on the officer's condition, progress that we've made on the investigation so far. There will be a separate press conference that we will have on Monday. We will likely do that with the 2nd Judicial District Attorney, Raul Torres, and we'll talk about what prosecution might look like for these offenders. And so just wanted to make sure we put that out preemptively. Before I start, I just want to preface that I don't mean my words to divide. In fact, I hope the opposite is true. I hope to express the urgency that is needed and the opportunity that we have to work together on the issues that are facing our community. My message as it relates to crime is this: what more do we need to see in our communities before we can agree? How many chances are we going to give criminals who are preying on our communities at every opportunity? Crime is rampant in New Mexico, and particularly so in the metro area. Our citizens don't feel safe, and little is put into action by some. A New Mexico State police officer nearly lost his life yesterday. This is all too familiar to us, as just a year ago we lost one of our brothers to gunfire, very similar to yesterday. In the last 24 hours, police officers have been willfully and dutifully placed themselves at substantial risk to apprehend those responsible. They do so because we recognize that those who are willing to murder or attempt to murder a police officer are certainly the greatest danger that our community can face. So I'm asking, are we unified on issues or are we not? The community is pleading for change from lawmakers. And I would remind everyone that lawmakers are also duty-bound to care for the very communities that they represent. Though some don't seem to have an appetite for meaningful change, holding our most violent accountable does not seem to interest some of them. I would remind those who are in a position to make meaningful change that the words mean nothing without action. The governor has been leaning forward into violent crime issues. It's been demonstrated time and again as we have sent state policemen to this very community to address the violence that's been inflicted on this community. And while we've received criticism for that, you can walk up and down Central and speak with business owners and people who live in that community and their appreciation for the state police coming here time and again. The governor has introduced crime bills to address gun violence, yet what we're seeing is pushback on legislation that would address these very issues that we're facing. In this investigation alone, Chief will testify here shortly and will tell you that we've arrested many people, outstanding felony arrest warrants, long criminal histories, and in the process of those apprehensions, found with stolen vehicles and stolen handguns. Felons in possession, those exact issues that we're looking to address. I want to commend for a moment the men and women who, despite it all, remain committed and answer the call for service each and every day. Whether they're in municipal policing, state police, sheriff's department, their daily commitment and sacrifice have not gone unnoticed, and I want to thank them. We can't do it alone. These are bipartisan issues. And without action, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, we're going to be in the exact same position that we are today as it relates to crime, if not worse. So like I opened with, I don't mean for my words to divide anyone. I urge people to find common ground on these action that is needed to address violent crime. Appreciate you hearing me. I certainly hope we can come together and make the change that people here deserve and expect. I'll turn it over to Chief Johnson, and then when he's done, we'll stand for questions or any concerns that you have. Chief.
So good evening. I want to cover three things before we get into the facts of more facts from yesterday and some facts from today. But I think of most importance to our community, to our agency, is that our officer went home this afternoon to his family. So he'll be recovering at home now with his wife and his kids, who just yesterday morning he kissed goodbye, not knowing what his day would look like. And I'm certain that upon arrival today from the hospital back to his home, that kiss to his wife and kids probably felt very much differently than it did yesterday morning. And I don't know that it should be. Nobody should have to go to work and have to worry about that. I think the Secretary hit on it, what our community is, what appears it's headed towards. And not all of it, but the criminal element of it, which we'll get into in a moment. He shouldn't have to worry about that leaving the house in the morning and be that much happier when he gets home. So, again, all work together to try to figure this out. Somebody needs to. Number two, I'm beyond honored and humbled to be the chief and the spokesman for the state police. I probably don't deserve such an honor. I've told y'all that many times. I tell anybody who will listen that I probably don't deserve that, but I am today. So to tell you this, that the men and women of this organization show up time and time again for communities we don't even have primary jurisdiction in, like the Secretary said here in Albuquerque, but to show up time and time again. The decision our supervisor made yesterday, think about this. As he is there, the decision he has to make is seeing his family that night or protecting yours. He chose yours. Please remember that. So, back on our organization, I'm beyond amazed at the work ethic. These folks have been working 36 hours straight since yesterday morning to find these folks and several more, to put them away, so hopefully all of you can rest tonight. Safely rest tonight. So, again, beyond honored, humbled, proud of the finest law enforcement agency in this state and this country. And I also want to thank the other agencies that have provided nonstop help since yesterday morning at 8:17. APD, Bernalillo County, Santa Fe, the FBI, all the federal agencies. There's too many to count. Non-stop text messages, emails of where they can help, and boy did they. So we'll get into the facts. Released a picture last evening I know that all of you got. Based on that picture, we received some information back from a concerned citizen that they were able to identify that red-headed lady in that photograph. With that information, our folks typed up search warrants for a house in Mcintosh, New Mexico, which is in Torrance County. Set up on the house as they're watching it. About 8:30 this morning, vehicles started to leave that residence. The first vehicle that left, once it got to Moriarty, we stopped it. A gentleman by the name of Matthew Mitchum, driving that vehicle, in possession of a stolen firearm. I'm sure we're all surprised. Two other vehicles left shortly thereafter, one being a Tahoe, which we were unable to make a traffic stop on or have contact, and the third one was an F-250, driven by a Mr. Daniel Brannick, who we had to chase from Mcintosh all the way into Albuquerque, which ended on Central and Juan Tabo. F-250 was stolen. I'm sure we're all surprised. He too had a firearm. I'm sure we're all surprised. And he's a felon. There's another shocker for you. That's not even the two people we're looking for. Simultaneous to the pursuit, we made contact with the folks in the residence in Mcintosh, and that's where we find Caleb Elrich, aka Creeper, and Alana Martinez, who are the shooters and the girl from yesterday. It would be a surprise to you to know that Caleb has a violent criminal history. I think I mentioned that yesterday. We've all read that book, of shooting at or from a motor vehicle, causing great bodily injury, aggravated fleeing, which is what he did yesterday, and assault on a household member. Those are the few that I jotted down. So he was arrested this morning, and he's going to be booked for assault with intent to commit a violent felony on a peace officer, tampering with evidence, aggravated battery on a police officer, and shocker, felon in possession of a firearm. Both of those people will be booked. Alana will be booked on harboring a felon, and we are still looking for several people who may have had involvement of getting them from the scene, or anybody who made contact with them from 8/17 yesterday morning until we arrested them today. We will find every single one of them, and they can expect a knock on their door from the state police. If you had anything to do with these two, or assisted them in any way, you can rest assured in the next couple of days we will be at your house as well. So I'll close with that. Again, very happy that our supervisor is home resting with his family. That's most important. And again, can't thank our personnel enough. All of you being here too, you helped us obviously, so we appreciate all of you being here too. And that's all I have. Okay? I thought you asked something. I'm sorry.
I need a quick question. When are you guys going to clean house and get rid of the actual bad officers?
Yes, sir. But I don't know that it's the proper time for that, but everybody's working hard. Everybody's working hard to figure out who those are and get rid of them. There's a process in place that we're trying to follow. I will tell you, sir, that although none of us are perfect, we are doing the best we can.
I didn't say perfect. I said when you guys are going to clean house, because there's been countless times of various departments across the country saying we've affected ourselves and found no wrongdoing. And people like me are tired of that.
Yes, sir.
So that's what I'm getting at, sir.
Well, I appreciate your question. I can't answer questions in generalities, but I told you we have a process. Again, none of us are perfect. We make mistakes. We try to deal with those as they come up. And I think this organization does a pretty damn good job of it.
Chief Johnson?
Yes.
The home that you guys in Mcintosh, is that a relative of Alana, or how is that related?
I didn't get that detailed of the briefing. I know that they both live there, though.
Chief, I just want
Yes,
to
sir.
confirm here, they were arrested at Bonnet Lane, at the residence, correct?
If that's the name of it, yes, sir. The one in Mcintosh?
Yeah.
Yes.
In regards to those two people that you said they were in vehicles and they were found, what was kind of their involvement? Did they kind of give you any other information in regards to the suspects that were arrested, or what was kind of their involvement? You brought up those two names of those people driving those vehicles.
I don't know that they were involved in the situation yesterday, but they were leaving that house. We had a search warrant for it, so we needed to make contact with them to make sure that they weren't our suspects.
Gotcha.
Armed, stolen cars.
Exactly.
Go figure.
Around 12:30, workers coming into this building, these escorted one of the matched the description of Alana. I just want to confirm here, was that Alana? Do we have information on that? We have some video that we sent to you guys.
Can I confirm it after? I don't want to give you bad info, but yeah, I would imagine.
Where are they being booked? Like, what detention center?
I would imagine NBC.
Okay.
Just talk again about, the efforts, like you were saying, a lot of work has been going into, the last 24 hours, and here we are, leading to this. And if you wouldn't mind just talking a little bit more about just all the effort that went into finally arresting the suspects.
Yeah, I mean, obviously yesterday was a little bit more difficult. We didn't have as much info to go on, so what we had was the vehicle and a little bit of evidence from the convenience store. So the vehicle, we made an arrest last night, which I'm sure all of you saw when we gave the press conference. We thought that was the person. However, that turned out to be, we got to that gentleman based on the vehicle registration being sold, all those things. So we find him thinking he's the suspect. Doesn't turn out to be, but he has felony warrants and a history.
That was going to say the two people that we were questioning yesterday. We heard that yes, one of them was arrested for something separate. If you want to just saying, what kind of happened in regards to that situation.
With him?
Yeah, with him, and then the other female, I believe.
The female, after being detained, was cut loose once we determined she wasn't involved.
Gotcha. But the man was arrested, like you said, separately.
On a separate warrant, yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Chief, the gun that was found on Matthew's person, does that have any relation to the crime or to the shooting?
Into the what, sir?
To the shooting of the officers?
We're gonna have to run the evidence is gonna have to be submitted, and they'll figure out if it is or it isn't. I mean, I think we finished with 3 or 4 firearms, if I'm not mistaken. I'm hoping one of those is it, kind of to make this case bulletproof and button it up as high as we can, as tight as we can.
Are you releasing the officer's name now?
No, sir. Our usual protocol is once the officer is interviewed, then we release the name.
Chief, is there any mugshot for it? We have any mugshot of the one member or the other?
One will be, a press release will be out right after this.
On that press press release also have like the suspect's full name and the date of birth and everything like that. We did
The
want to
two suspects?
for the two suspects.
Yes.
The male suspect from yesterday.
You're gonna have to step up here. I'm so sorry. Yeah, we have an awesome place right here.
The male suspect from yesterday, did he sell the car to the shooter? Is there any connection in that aspect?
I mean, I don't want to get into the exact facts of that just yet, but yeah, there's a link. There's a link between the vehicle and the suspect we arrested yesterday.
And then the individual that was arrested on the separate warrant, do we have his name?
From last night?
From last night, yes.
We're talking about the same person.
Okay.
It was Mr. Torres.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's linked to the car, and he had a separate felony warrant.
Okay.
Did the supervisor have a lapel cam on during this whole?
Yes.
Will that be released at a different,
Yes.
at a different time? Also, what about the security footage? Will the full security footage of inside the gas station?
I think we were able to retrieve that last night. We have.
The screenshots.
Yeah, we have the screenshots. I think we have maybe the hard drive. We're trying to get the video off.
Gotcha. Any idea maybe when that lapel video might be released?
No.
Chief, was there any resistance to arrest for Alana?
I didn't get into. I didn't get briefed down that far, so I'm not sure. So I'm sorry.
I guess what's kind of the next steps moving forward in regards to this investigation?
Anybody that assisted them between 8:17 yesterday morning and the time of arrest will be knocking on their door. That's the next steps.
Is there any estimate of how many other people could be involved in possibly helping them out?
I didn't get that far down in the briefing, so I'm sorry. I know there's several still outstanding.
Well, the other thing was, are we aware of how, from when they fled from the scene following the shooting, how they were able to arrive at the house? Do we think that they walked, vehicle, picked up by someone? Any kind of theories at this point?
We got a couple different theories, or not theories, maybe tips that they were picked up by someone, and we'll be knocking on their door soon.
And then again, real quick, I kind of missed this first part. You said there's another press conference on Monday. We want to explain a little bit more about that.
That is correct. We'll meet with the 2nd Judicial District, our tours. We'll have a conversation on what prosecution may look like for these offenders. Naturally, if it's a felon already and felon in possession of a firearm, there would be a possibility that we would adopt federal charges. And so those are the conversations that we need to have.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Sorry, I apologize for one more question from producer. They said, have the suspects said anything in regards to shooting the officer, or are they sorry? Have they talked or anything like that?
I was told we had full confessions from both.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.